everyone, welcome to another awesome FileMaker day of FM training. I'm Richard Carlton here, creator of FMtraining.tv. This is Christian Schmidt. Hello, Christian Schmidt. How are you?
I'm fine. Yeah, thanks.
Good. Well, before we get to Chris Schmidt, let me do some opening announcements here. So coming up on the broadcast schedule. So you are watching FMtraining.tv. If you go to the FMtraining.tv website, there he is. There's the monkey in the corner. You go to the website, you can check out the upcoming broadcast schedule right here. This is the stuff that Margaret's maintaining for us, keeping it up to date. We greatly appreciate it. Today is drag and drop of the MonkeyBread plugin. The MonkeyBread plugin is very inexpensive. I highly recommend that you check it out. Think about using it. It is a good tool. It will really help you out. It's inexpensive. I always thought that Claire should buy it and put it in the product, but then I think that they wouldn't maintain it and keep it up to date. So it's probably better that it's not in their product, that Christian Schmidt maintains it because he cares about it. He loves it. Christian likes to feed his monkey and not kill his monkey. So anyway, I've rescinded what I thought about that. I think that having it externally as a third-party product is the way to go. It does mean that we have to pay for it, but it is what it is. So then tomorrow we got Nick Hunter's back for some more awesomeness. Nick Hunter on Thursday as well. So Wednesday, Thursday with Nick. Jacob Taylor will be with me on Friday. We're going to be talking about demilitarized zones, DMZs, and networks and firewalls, and more specifically, WebDirect. There's some WebDirect shenanigans that's not documented with Claris. It has to do with multiple machine setups where you have worker machines and things like that, and you're using that to kind of give your WebDirect more horsepower. And if you have multiple firewalls, it's an interesting mix of technology that causes problems. And Claris has documentation on it. Conveniently enough, they haven't provided the documentation to anyone. Jacob Taylor begged and pleaded. Their product management team talked to engineering dumped the documentation on us. So instead of us saying, hey, you should publish this, we're just going to do it for them. We're going to make a video. We'll talk about that on Friday. The following week, I don't see Monday and Tuesday on there. I'm not sure why. But Nick will be back with horizontal action with pivot tables. So whatever that means with Nick in Colombia with horizontal action, right? Why watch out for that? It could get a little salty, as we say in the business. As a reminder, we have had multiple people continuing to pass certification tests. They watch our training, then they pass the test. You're never really quite sure whether the training got them over the hump or not. There's a couple people, we're going to make a little video about them and then share you the information. One of the gentlemen from this group here got certified, got passed, made it by 1%. So we knew that 62 was a passing grade. This person watched our training a couple times and got 63%. So previously, before that, had failed it. So I can say definitely we got him over that one hump. All I have to do is take credit for a 1 to 2%. Which I can do pretty easily, no problem. And then, so if you want to support the channel, instead of us, always give us the likes and the up buttons and all that kind of stuff and post comments on YouTube or wherever you're at. But if you want to support the channel, I'm not going to ask you for free money. On Patreon, just out of the goodness of your heart, give me money. How about instead of me doing that, I tell you to buy our complete training package, and that supports the channel, and you get all the awesomeness, including the FileMaker certification training, which is in here. It's not in here. So if you want the FileMaker certification training, along with Christian Schmidt's undying monkey love, then what you need to do is purchase this right here. So right after you purchase our complete bundle, you should buy MonkeyBread plugin in that order. Or in the order of MonkeyBread first and then our training after that. All right, Christian Schmidt, are you ready to roll here? Okay, so Christian Schmidt has already posted a sample file he wants you to log into. So I'm going to double click him, bring him up. This is Christian Schmidt. He's the chief monkey of MonkeyBread. So yep, there's the monkey. Awesome. Welcome to Las Vegas, the monkey. All right, so tell us, what are we doing today, Christian Schmidt?
Yeah, today we want to add some drag and drop support for our little example project.
Okay.
So I will first figure out how to share my screen. So we have a container field here, and usually you can just drag something into the container field. It may take a while, and then eventually the picture may show up. But that's all FileMaker can do. Like if we drag two files, we don't get two pictures added to the container. So
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of a single threaded process, does one at a time, right? Is what we're talking about?
well, FileMaker can only import one picture because the container can only hold one picture.
Right, okay.
So we want to change that and say we would like to have as many pictures as we need.
Okay.
And so we can take our drag and drop functions on the documentation page. Is it there? So we can define an area where we want to drop something, or we can define the whole window. And I think that's the nicer way, the newer way. So we have the attached to window script function here. And this way we can tell the plugin, this whole window is now our drop target. And so that's why the script. So that's why the new script. Drag and drop, initialize. This should work on Mac and Windows. Here you see.
Yeah, no, I think NJ was talking about the sample file he had the other day. He was trying to send me a demo. Sometimes you folks create sample files to send me them. I really appreciate when you do that because it allows me to see great demos and ideas. So if you send me a Windows only file, that's fine, but I have to fire up my Windows PC, which I'm attempting to start right now, and then to look at it on that. So, but we're doing drag and drop today with MonkeyBread. So what do we do? Where are we at? So we're putting this.
So we got this drag attached to window function, and we will just call it here. Drag drop attached to window, and we pass in which window we want to target, which can be either with the window name, or we just pass the window number, and 0 is the first window, the top window.
Okay.
So top window, front window. Window as target. Next, what do we need? We may want to tell a script trigger. And that's here the drag action handler. So I just copy that. Set variable. So that action handler and the drop area. Okay, we will make this a global variable. The script we want to target is in the current file, and we name it drag action later. So drop area is, by the way, the result here. So we have a new drop area defined for the whole window, and we set the script to call. And I saw there's another call we should make. That's here. We can define the cursor, and we can actually define what we want to accept. That will be file, so I can just copy that. So we say file. You can have different types. This is like a filter which happens before you get the drop. So the mouse cursor can show you that it doesn't like what you are dragging. And we allow here things like URLs, emails, text, file, images. So I can just say I take files here. And we can show a cursor. So while you're dragging, you're coming over the area, you see, for example, a copy cursor, which has a nice green plus on it. So we will use that here. Drop area. So, and we can test this right away. Let me just run it and remove it. So I can go over the whole window, and I get the plus icon here. Then this is an acceptable content.
So you signed it to the whole. I missed that when you did that. You signed it to the whole window. Is that what you did?
Yeah, The
Wow.
whole window is now the drop area.
Mm.
Well, for a lot of customers, you have a workflow where you say we go to a certain layout where we do something and we need a few pictures. So
Yeah.
we can just turn it on for the whole window.
Okay.
And then when we leave this layout, we can turn it off.
Okay, so
So we
David,
should do that.
yeah, David has a question. Window number is the order that appear in this menu? Question mark. That's a Discord question if you want to look at that.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So the plugin will query the order of the windows from the operation system, which should match what you see in the menu there. But I wouldn't guarantee it. Like you can use FileMaker to make dialogues, or you can make floating windows, and I think they may not show in the dialog in the menu. Okay, let's make a cleanup function, drag and drop cleanup, and that's something you can run at the end of your layout. So like in the trigger for leaving the layout, drag, drop, release, $$ drop area. So let's put it in an if statement. So if is empty, for example, and clear, we release it and we set it to an empty text. So this would be our cleanup. So I can run the cleanup, and now I cannot drop something. And when I run it again here to initialize, I get my green cursor. So we have a green cursor. Now what do? We need to have a script. And that was drag action. So the first thing we could do is we could go and check in the documentation. There is like drop functions. So we get a drop. The script is called. So what do? We could ask how many files do we have? Yeah.
Okay.
The get pass count.
Okay.
So variable. So $$ drop area. Let's count. So the next thing is, yeah, I could just have a dialog and see if it works and show me the count. Number of files. So let's see what we get. So I just take here 2 files. Oh, not running. I saw it. And we get a 2.
Ooh, I like that.
So the script is running.
Okay, great.
If the script is not running, first thing would be check here for a typo. And check the security. That's something a few new customers run into. So advanced, the privileges here somewhere, where is it? So here is cross-file plugin access. And that's a security setting which can limit the plugin so it's not able to actually trigger a script.
Wow, okay.
So
Was that, wait, is that a new one? Where did that come out?
yeah, I think it was new in 19.2.
Oh yeah, plugin. Yes, cross.
So, yeah. So I can turn it off, and let's see if it happens live. Oh, I don't get anything. So, and let's just do a little trace on. So we can log for errors. We can, for example, have MBS trace and now put in a path, users, desktop, trace.txt. So, and I can log all the plugin calls. So I can run this. I can drop the file again, see nothing is happening. The path is wrong. The CS. So run again. So now we have here this log file, which logs all the MBS calls.
Okay.
And now when I drag the picture over the file, it also logs here. This
File is not authorized to reference a protected file. So that's that.
That's the error message from FileMaker that we are not allowed to trigger a script from the plugin.
Okay.
So I go back to the security settings. No, here advanced. The full access and the checkbox. So if you have an older solution which doesn't have this entry, then everything is allowed. But if you make a new solution in FileMaker 19.2 and newer, you get this setting automatically, and it's of course turned off. Yeah, 2. So we see it here in the log. We see script got triggered, no error. And then the path count function was called. And this text file is very useful if you are looking for a bug related to calling a plugin function. So we got our path count. So let's insert path. Like I could just insert a for loop. Disable this. So
someone's asking if this is Mac only or Mac and Windows. What is this?
The drag and drop is for Mac and Windows.
Both.
It's for both.
Wow, it's your lucky day, David Angel. Woo!
Yeah. And the snippet insert thing can also be used on Windows, as you saw in the previous live stream. So we loop over the records, and let's say we got 2, so we loop here, we exit when it gets to 3. Okay. It's always tricky to get here this right with bigger than or bigger equals than. So we take the path with here the get path function. So the file path is $drop area and $index. Path. Now we have to read the file. So this is a native path. So you may not easily use the built-in functionality, but you can use the plugin. So we have our read file function here for container. Just copy this and say image the path. Yeah, it's auto, but I think you don't have to tell this. So we got a path, we got a picture. Let's test if this worked. Like there could be a permission error for reading the file. So we count how many we have, but otherwise I would just put the picture in the field. So $image. So let's see if I can just drop one picture here. Let's take the cursor again. Let's take a look back. Drag and drop. What's the index? Get path 0. Oh, it's starting at 0. So let's change it here. The off by 1 problem is a big problem in computer science.
Yeah.
So start at 0. Okay, but we see here in the log, we see the error messages that we didn't get a path, and then This is not a valid file name, but now we see, yeah, it worked.
Okay, so can
So
you
we have
do me
the
a favor real
picture.
quick and remind me, how do we turn on the log, or how do we see the log? Well, it was over there a second
Uh,
ago, but this
yeah,
this is
here.
so helpful right here. So by default, whenever I'm going to play with your product, I should turn this on first thing, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. So we have trace. If you specify a file name, we will write to that file.
Mm.
Otherwise, we will write to the console on Mac or debug view on Windows
Okay.
or the standard logs files on Linux. So
And then,
you can,
okay. What app is this over here you're using? It's not Notes, is it? Is it Console? What are we
this
looking?
is BB edit.
Oh, BB Edit,
This is,
because it's auto refreshing, right? So
yeah,
do you set it to auto refresh, or how do you
that's somewhere in the preference here.
just show that real quick for those of you on the Mac? So what we do, see, he's writing the text file over here, but if the file's already open, so like if this was Word, it wouldn't know that this changed. So the BB Edit has to constantly go over here, reread the file, and then display any updates. So where do you?
Yeah, but I have to look for it.
That's fine. Look for it. This is very educational because this is one of
Text
those
files. Export
expert.
now. Text
It should be how
now.
often it refreshes. Keep going. Printing. No. Preview languages.
Couple of application tools.
Enable. Hold. Soft wrap.
No, that's
Soft. No. Okay. What?
search show issues hard
Live
links.
search results. What? Oh, no, go back one. Go back one. Is it? Oh, that's auto completion. Okay.
Yeah.
Ken says
Oh,
application.
here, the first one.
Okay, so this is what it causes it to go. Check the log. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. Ken's paying attention, and then it refreshes here. So understand that this is one of the little things in life that makes life really much better. Is if you're making errors and this is refreshing here, right? So I like that a lot.
And if you have the latest plugin released today, you get here the parameter names.
Oh,
So,
so
the
this
plugin knows what the parameters
so
are
we're
named.
plugging 12 dot. What's today's version?
1.
1 dot 0 or what are we?
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm just asking. 12.1. Okay.
So you see all the plugin calls, and if your script is started, you see here which file and the current user and host, and it's very handy.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Good job. So what happens when you drop two photos into well, you're not dropping into container, you're dropping to the active area. The plugin intercepts the active area, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so we will change our script to now work with several scripts, several pictures. So we make a new record, and we commit record. So now I have 42, and now I can drop them both. Oh no, I have to initialize again. That's good. So, and we see here there's one call, and there's another call, and so we now have 44 pictures.
Okay. Organi says MBS is now more awesome or awesomer as usual. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's partly, here's the thing with us. All right, I'm going to move this over out of the way a little bit. So here's the thing. Christian Schmidt is in Germany, locked in his house during COVID. He's got his kids. He probably have his wife or a significant other. But he doesn't get to meet all of you as often as he likes. And so part of what we do is we expose him to all of you and your ideas. And he likes this. He likes coming here. He likes sharing with us. And when you give him ideas, it makes, as far as he's concerned, if he fixes it, it's one less excuse you have for not buying his product. And I really, when I say I endorse the product, I really, really, really do. So if you have ideas or topics, you get stuck with something, like this whole log thing over here, FileMaker should have this. This should be in FileMaker, like writing a log on the server level. And it kind of does it, but it's kind of incomplete. I really think that this is, frankly, a fantastic, very verbose, It could be too verbose, but I think, I'm going to make a video about this right here specifically and send to Claire, say, hey, you guys need to have a verbose mode on server. And yes, we know it'll be a performance issue, but during testing, it's super useful for it to tell you what it's doing or not doing. I think this is great. Can we drop into a portal to create the child records? Well, the active area is on top of the layout, right? Isn't that how that works, Christian Schmidt?
Yeah, but you could, of course, just have the records go in a portal. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could target. So he activated the whole window. Can you activate a specific region, right, or an object?
Yeah.
Because you could put the active region or object over the top of the portal or something, and then it never goes all the way through. Remember, because FileMaker is, in the operating system, is layers of display, right? In fact, that was the big deal with WebDirect, because WebDirect doesn't really support this layering idea where it goes through. Like, you would have a calculation underneath and then another field on top, and then we'd always do these FileMaker tricks, right, to get this stuff done. Well, he's using a continuation of that trick action. He's putting an active area on the operating system above FileMaker is what's happening. So you can put it anywhere. And then once it activates, it runs any script. So what can you do with that? Unlimited.
So originally we had this create with control. So you can put a box on your layout. You can put in a picture like in our example here. Let me just open the example like here. This drop files here box. So this is just a box. Like here in the menu, you pick Rectangle, you put a box on there. It doesn't matter. It has a name, so you can tell the plugin to look for the object on the layout.
You're targeting the name, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah. The name, and we will ask then Claire's FileMaker here for where are the coordinates for that. So we find it on your layout and then put the control there. So I can just use this solution.
So Rick Fosnot, Rick, are you following this? Right, I know Rick is on YouTube, so about 90-second delayed, but you're following this. Oh yeah, so look where he does it. The plus turns on when it's, so his plugin is talking to the operating system. So I'm going to move this over again. The plugin is talking to the operating system, and it's establishing, I'll use a common term we see these days, a no-fly zone. A no-fly zone above that space on the screen. And if your mouse flies through there, it gives you a little icon indicator change that you've entered a no-fly zone. And if you let go, it will the operating system activates, it sees this, it talks to the plugin. Since it's the plugin goes, and it runs a script, and then off it goes, right? That's essentially what's happening here, right? Do I have that right, Christian?
Yeah. And I made a special thing here, which is synchronous. So if this is disabled, we have this disabled look here. And then when we actually activate it, we have the enabled look. And just like, let's take a look on this example script. So this is the example coming with a plugin. So you get this if you download the MBS plugin. So there's a setup drop function here, script. Right. Get this wider here. It creates a drop area with a control and passes here the name of the control. So it looks for an item called drop. We have the cursor, we have the types, and here we set an image. There is a picture in a hidden global field for this logo here. And you could put whatever pictures. Like you can have a picture there saying, put the scan here or put the ID card here or whatever. So it matches your solution.
So Lynn, real quick, I'm trying to help the visualization on this so everyone understands visually on this, because Rick is there, and NJ's there, and Lynn's there. You can drag and drop multiple areas like in a list view. That's a good. So let me ask you the question on this. If you do a X and Y coordinate on the screen, and say you have a list view here, can your X and Y coordinates cross across a part boundary? Because you have that record and a record.
No,
it cannot.
Doesn't. So we will ask FileMaker for the coordinates and then put our item on top of the layout from FileMaker. We don't notice if FileMaker does any scrolling. The control from the plugin will stay where it is.
So you're saying that So go back to your documentation, because I thought you had. Okay, yeah, this would go. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's not a. Okay, that's not a X and Y coordinate up here. That's something
No,
else. Okay.
that's a delta where you can move it relative to the controller.
Okay, control name. Name of
So
the
we had a
control.
lot of people which put a control somewhere, and
Mhm.
then they told me, well, it's not the right position. It needs to be 5 pixels more to the left, and then I got tired of those requests. So
Okay, okay. So
I
you
made it a parameter.
made a parameter. So the control. So we're identifying the item,
Yeah,
and then it lays it over the top of the item, and then these are optional adjustments, is what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay. So go back over here to our list view for me. I'm going to clarify this. So if we identify this object here, and this object scrolls off the screen, then it would not be drag and droppable anymore, right? See, this one's kind of glued up here. It's a nav part, but
let me just try it. So let's free it. So let's say we create a new control, and we say it's at 100 points moved.
okay.
Oh, there it is. You see, it's behind the list.
Uh,
It's above the list.
above the list. It's a layer. So,
Yeah.
so this is the image. Okay. So go to layout. Can you go to layout over here for me? Because I'm doing actually.
You still see it.
Okay, you still see it. See, that's screwing me up. When I go to layout mode, I expect it to turn itself off. How do we tell it
There's a script here for you.
to?
We have
Okay.
a script to do cleanup. Yeah.
Okay, so can you go back to the code here on this? Are we targeting this object specifically? What are we targeting here?
Drop.
Okay,
No,
and that
item
object is
drop.
called drop. So then when we tell it to activate, it takes that image, it replicates that image, and then it moves it because you had the change in position.
Yeah, no. We put the plugin control on top of it,
Yeah.
so you don't see the original picture, and we put in a new picture. So the plugin shows you the other picture, drop here.
This is a little bit. Here. Let me zoom in on this for everyone so we can see this real good. So I'm gonna restate what he said here. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm really big here. I'm gonna restate what he said. Okay, you have this object on the layout. It has a name called drop. We target it with the script. The script is going to put a droppable area on top of it, which would cover it. It's kind of a defect in the programming, the operating system, whatever. It would cover it. We don't like that. So then part of Christian Schmidt, because he's smart, is he takes this object, he copies it in the memory. So he copies it in the memory, so it's available to him under the hood in the plugin, so you understand what's going on. He creates an actionable area, no fly zone. Then he glues a copy of the image that you had on top of it. So he's actually doing a double glue job on top, and it floats on top of the layout. Even if you're in layout mode or browse mode or preview mode, it doesn't matter. It's there. And so you have to run a script step that disables it. So you're going to show this area. And in the other demo, it was invisible, right? The area was, it was the whole window, right? It was the whole window,
Yep.
right?
The whole window.
As opposed to an object. So are we clear on this? So he's telling the operating system to superimpose something on top of the FileMaker window. FileMaker doesn't even know it's there. It's completely oblivious.
So,
You drag and drop into there, right? The operating system sends the request to the plugin. The plugin gets the data, activates a script, and then off you go. Does that make sense?
yeah. And I just added the global container here to the layout, so you actually can see this is the picture we use for when the drop area is active.
Okay. Is that normally handled invisibly behind the scenes, or do we have
That's just a feature of this example. I mean, you can take the picture from wherever you like.
Oh, okay.
It's your picture. I mean, it's your
picture.
design.
So you actually place the logo that you want on top of here. So they happen to be the same thing. They happen to be the same. Okay.
Different shade of gray.
Oh, good.
So you can see it's enabled or disabled. So, next question. There was a question about auto resize, and we did a little bit in this direction. In general, I don't do this often, but here for Mac, we have the auto resize mask, so you can tell it how to move relative to the window. And you can, for example, have it on the bottom area or on the right side, or grow with the window. But we started with a control like this, and then I got so many requests from people who wanted it to be just the whole window. And I think the whole window may be better, because you can just, for example, show a card window to take pictures, and then make the whole window droppable and show your portal in the card window. So the drop area should not be a part of the moving list here, because it doesn't weigh. So and here the auto resizing is there for Mac. I didn't implement that for Windows yet.
Did you answer the NJ's question there?
So
right above, can you make the...
Yeah, you can have several drag and drop areas if you like, yeah. That's certainly possible.
Okay.
So let's put this 0 back, let it on it, so we have one there, and then let's make a second one. Same script again. And there's another one here.
Ah, okay.
So I can drop here or here.
Yeah.
And there's an area between where they don't have a plus.
Yeah, and there are people who are asking about the time zone changes, so I wish they would just quit doing that. But yeah, so Michael Kerwin, he says his Irish clocks don't go forward till the 27th. Yeah, and so this is California, which is screwed up enough as it is. So yeah.
No worry about the time zone. Your iPhone will do that automatically.
Yeah. Except that he's here an hour. Except that we changed and he didn't, right? That was the problem. So, all right. Yeah, it's good. So, good stuff. This is really good.
So we should explain a little bit more here.
Yeah, go for it.
This is the example. So you have here again the code for getting the pass. There's a little thing here that if the file doesn't exist yet, we wait a second, because sometimes if people drag files, they're not yet copied, we wait a bit. Then we put also the name in the field. And besides getting file drags, we can also get file descriptions, file descriptors. That's on Windows a thing where you get, you don't get the file directly, you get the information that a file is available. And then we can ask for the content of the file, which may be either be passed in memory as data, or we get another file path. And that's the thing you need for Microsoft Outlook if you like to get attachments over to FileMaker.
Yeah. So I want to point something else out, that it's one of those things you only learn from experience with the computer. And this happens inside FileMaker. Sometimes Nick talks about this where you're trying to do something and there's a trigger that activates it, but the rest of the process hasn't completed yet. It's not really quite ready for it. So in this case, he had the 1 second delay. The operating system notifies the plugin that someone has drag and dropped something there. But remember, the operating system is doing multiple things at once. It knows someone drag and dropped it. It's grabbing the drag and drop and saving it to the hard drive or doing whatever it's doing. So there's probably 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things. It might even be scanning the file to see if there's a virus in there or it's a misbehaved file or something. Who knows what's going on? But your plugin is getting notified that there's a file, but the operating system might not be done and it might not be available yet. That's why that pause in there. So sometimes things happen out of order. It should be a kind of a linear, as we call a synchronous process, but the notification is asynchronous. It happens as soon as it can, and it's not waiting for these other things to be complete. So if you get an error, you're looking for the file, but you don't get the file, maybe all it is you have to wait for a little bit for the rest of the those processes to catch up, because they're being done kind of in parallel. Instead of one at a time and one at a time, in the world of FileMaker, we do everything one at a time and one at a time. And suddenly you get to a computer which does 12 things at once, and it has to be in order, right? So yeah, very, very, very important.
So let's say you are on Windows, you have Microsoft Outlook, and you like to get your attachments directly drag and dropped into FileMaker. Then you would use the file descriptor functions. Outlook might decide to give you a file path for a temporary file to import or just pass the data in memory. And then the plugin will give you a container value directly. You can just copy this part of the script for your solution, and it should just work. Then there's also the possibility to drag and drop text. Like you can have some text here, you can select the text, and you can drop the text somewhere. And then you get a text dropped without being a file. The same is possible for HTML.
Okay, so let me ask a question. So you're dragging and dropping it onto the same hotspot or whatever we call that, the area, and then so you're checking to see if it's a content. Are we setting the content type here, or? Oh, I see. Can you go back to that sample file and show that again? So if we So
I just dropped this text piece here.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
And
okay.
Yeah, I can.
So it says, oh, we've got text, and it gives you text. Got it. Yeah. So
we also got HTML and RTF from the same drag. So one drag can have several types of data.
Okay, so if you have an image and you have the metadata on the image, do we get the metadata off the image? Is that what part of that is? Maybe?
No, not the metadata. You would get the image file, and then you can get the metadata out of the file. Yeah.
You could use a get container attributes function, right? That's where you get the metadata.
Yeah,
that's
what
that
can get metadata.
Yeah.
I may show you another little helper app. There's a clipboard viewer, which can tell you what's on the clipboard on all the data types.
Really? Okay.
And there's the drag clipboard, and that's data from the last drag and drop operation. So you see what's coming over with. So you get normal rich text, you get normal text, and you get UTF-16 text. So, and let's say I drag the picture here. So, and then you see all the stuff I got in this tag. So there's a file promise. So it doesn't have a file yet, but if I would want a file, the operation system would wipe this picture into a temporary file and give it to me. But also, we have from FileMaker here, it's temporary. So when the drag is over, this thing is over. So we get all the details from FileMaker. So FileMaker will put several things on the clipboard, so you can get this from one container to another, and FileMaker copies all the data it has in the container field, including here PNG and TIFF preview pictures.
Yeah, the preview, that's actually surprising there's that much stuff in there. I know about the preview, but the rest of it's like, wow.
Well, let's just try the clipboard. Like, there's a lot of automation happening there. Like the operation system will convert automatically things. Let's just put something on the clipboard. Clipboard set text. Hello. Okay, so I put my text hello there, and I get just normal text.
Yeah.
But, if I go to another application, I may get different things.
Okay.
Oh, here, baby edit puts something
language
in for
hint,
language.
ATAD. Yeah.
And I said if I copy here, it not just puts in the RTF, but also a text version. And so, and even there are 6 types. So this is an identifier, this is an identifier. And you don't have to care about this. But it's so for the drag, it's important to know that you may get not just get here the picture as a file path, but also get a picture as a picture. So I get both here on the track from the Finder. And you decide in the script what you do. So you may decide I only need file passes, and I will check the file path and say you are not allowed to drop this here if I don't like the type. Like we could put here some check-in and say, if color path 4 is not JPEG, and we complain. Please JPEG only. So we can limit it to only accept the file type we want. Are we still online?
Yep, I'm here.
So let me drop in the FileMaker solution and I get a complaint. So you can decide in the script what to do. And that's a big power here, because in FileMaker you just get the drop on the field and you can react on it on a change event on the record. So like you can get the trigger if the object was changed. And we can in the plugin decide what to do. And we can decide in the script what to do.
Cool.
Any other question?
Yeah, that's a good question. Other people have question. No, it's kind of quiet. NJ, I got NJ sample file. Thanks, NJ. Let's see, what else? NJ. Yeah, NJ from Australia says you're awesome. So, good. Yeah, I think it's impressive. I'm always impressed with this. There's a lot of amazing features in here. So, I did manage to fire up my Windows laptop, so that's my next step is to... you guys hear beeping over here. It's the Windows Defender telling me that I don't have any viruses and stuff. It's running updates and stuff. So we got a lot of functions in there.
Yeah, I'm just looking for things we could also talk about. So you can have a script trigger when something is coming in. So when the mouse moves over or the mouse leaves it. Those scripts should be very quick because they make it triggered a lot.
Yeah.
So you can turn the whole thing visible or invisible if you need.
Oh, okay.
So you could hide it sometimes if you keep it on the window.
Okay.
You can ask for what types are in the transfer. Like we could just show that. Here, as already. So in the script, types. So when I drop this other file, so when I just drop a file, oops. So we see all the stuff in the top, like there's a file URL and a file name path and something from the Finder. And when I drop in the picture,
Okay.
it shows me also file, yeah.
Very impressive. So that's awesome. Can you drag a text selection or just files? Oh, that's a good question. Text selection or files?
Yeah, that's what we did earlier. Like I can
We did a text selection, right? Yeah. So
and drop it there, and then I get here the callback telling me it's all text.
Okay.
And we create a record here with just text in it.
There you go, NJ. Yep, we aim to please. So pretty neat stuff. Rick Fuzz, not any questions. Rick Fuzz, he just wrote this. This is so interesting. I almost need to take a step back. Take a step back and take what I have learned and start over. Well, that's the thing. It's always the thing in FileMaker. You can always rebuild it from scratch, knowing what you know. The trick is to You know, probably if you look at the things you built years ago, like at the very beginning when you're learning, yeah, that stuff probably should be rewritten. But it gets to a point where if you have a fairly solid design in terms of performance and things, then you have to learn how to just kind of keep, adding on. And then at some point, if you have the budget, time, and the money, you can rebuild. But yeah, it's, RCC has internal systems that would cost, shoot, $100,000 or more to rebuild. So we kind of just keep them going and we update them. We don't rewrite them.
So if you drag and drop a folder on it, you of course get the path from the plugin, and then you can decide what you do with the folder.
Well, how would you program that? Do you read everything out of it on one pass, or would you have to write a loop and read out of it sequentially?
Yeah, you would probably, well, the first thing is you have to decide what you want to do, and then you probably look on our files functions, and there's a files list function. There it is, which you can use to list all the files in the folder.
Put it in the value list or variable or something, yeah.
Yeah, then you make a loop over it and decide what you do on the pictures. Like you could have a solution where you just drop in a folder on your window and it takes all the pictures from the folder and puts it in records.
You have sample files for most of this kind of stuff. I know you built this in real time just now, but you have a lot of sample files, right? So it's always better.
Over 600.
600 sample files. So he may or may not have a demo that does this already, but yeah.
Yeah. But for every function, you can just take a look here. It shows you some sample code, and then it tells you which example has it. And there's one for multiple picture. And that one uses this function. So you can always see which function is in which example.
Hey, I have a question right here. So it says, if you read right here your version, let's talk about this real quick about your plugin. So it says on version 11, added a function called drag drop dot attach to window. And then 11.2 deprecated in favor of this other function. I have a question. What is in your world, what does deprecated mean?
The function is not removed, but you shouldn't use it for new projects because it may eventually go away.
Okay.
It's a marker to tell you that this function should not be used anymore.
Okay.
And since we got a newer function, which is better and does more, like I can't change the old function too much because there may be people already using it, which depend on it still working the same way.
The behavior, consistent behavior, yeah.
Yeah, I make a slightly different function, and in this case, it's for Windows 2. So I have a different behavior on Mac, but also support Windows, so you can use it on both. And this function is better than the original function. And so I tell people to stop using the old function.
Yep. All right, so NJ has a question. He says it might be too much for the last 4 minutes of the broadcast day, but he's typing in a question as we speak, as we all wait.
We wait.
Okay, here we go. But a good demo would be drag and drop a PDF and extract the text and populate a field. Okay, I think that's a good idea. I think I don't know if we've done that recently. I know you have the Dynapdf support and all that, right?
Yeah, but this is something like 3 steps. One is a drag and drop. Another one is getting text from a PDF. And then the third one is to do anything with the text and put it in fields.
Okay, now hang on. This is important differentiate or a clarification here. This is very, very important. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to repeat this again. When you scan, it depends how the PDF is created as to what's inside the PDF. If you create a PDF, like he writes a text document here and puts a bunch of text here and says save as a PDF, fundamentally the text is in the PDF. If I scan the document with a scanner, like a business card, I scan it. It's an image, it's a picture, it's not text. Therefore, you have to have some sort of OCR software to get the text out of the image. So just understand in your head which way you're going to have to go, right?
Let's describe it. So first step would be get the drag and drop, then check PDF, and there we would extract images, extract text. So there is a difference between text on the page and then images in PDF, which may contain text.
Correct.
And then we would have OCR images, like we have OCR functions. And then we would have to do maybe regular expressions or string functions to get values. And then the next question is sort them into files, fields.
Yep. So yeah, so we can write out the steps, but what most people get. So what is Dynapdf? When you license Dynapdf, which is actually not cheap, what does that give you on top of your product, on top of your plugin? What do you get? What benefit does that get you, Christian?
You get a ton of benefits.
No, I know,
So-
but I mean, does it do the OCR? Or what does it do?
No. It does all the different PDF things.
Okay.
So let's just see here the chart with all the Dynapdf features. So like there's a basic version which is able to create a PDF cross-platform, include a ton of things like fonts, vector graphics, Unicode text.
So if we have
tables.
what I'm trying to ask is, I don't have Dynapdf. I have your license for your product. I don't have Dynapdf. Can I do this over here, or do I need to get Dynapdf to do that?
Since you may not have Windows, you can benefit from the PDF kit functions, and those are included with the plugin.
With a Mac, okay.
But those are for the Mac,
Yeah.
So you can do PDF text extraction here, get PDF page text, gives you the text of the page. And if you need it on Windows, Linux, you may use the Dynapdf function.
Okay.
And with Dynapdf, we bring our own PDF engine because Windows doesn't come with one.
Okay, yeah. All right, so yeah, so if you don't have it, if you're on Windows, you're definitely going to have Dynapdf. If you're on a Mac, you might be able to weasel by. All right, cool.
And then the
Go ahead.
OCR functions are here, where you can initialize them and then put in a picture, and then you can ask for the
Oh, you use
text.
Tesseract for that. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's Tesseract, yeah.
Okay.
So, and you can load whatever versions you like, so the 4.1 or whatever, 4.2 maybe soon. So you can do OCR. You can, of course, use an Amazon Web Service if you like.
We have that. We
you
have
like to
demos.
pay for it.
We have a demo of that. We have that runs as people can download that for free. We have that.
But then I think the most difficult thing, because this is just copy and paste from a lot of our examples, but then decide how you split the values from the text into something useful. This can be the bigger work.
Yeah, yeah.
So
all right, cool.
Anyone, so people tried it. Does it work?
I don't know if anyone's logged on to it today. I didn't really tell them to do that, but maybe yeah. So Rick Fosnut says it's a shame I have a real job. I would really like to spend more time working on FileMaker. Yeah, normally you would say that it's a shame I have a day job, right? A real job would imply that what Nick has here is not a real job. So Nick, I'm sorry that you don't have a real job.
I could just say, as long people are buying licenses from us, I can keep doing this and don't need to get a job at a bank or something.
Yeah, you could be a teller. Sir, how can I help you? Oh, you can take an order at the Starbucks for a coffee. I like a mocha choca frappuccino. Okay, cool. Would you like that with MonkeyBread? So, yeah. All right, cool. Well, everyone, it's been a good day. Oh, there's Kyle. Kyle shows up, better late than never. Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right, everyone. Well, we'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow's broadcast, once again, reminder, is going to be a little bit more Nick. And then we got Nick tomorrow. I won't be around. Then to Thursday with Nick. And then Friday, me and Jacob Taylor will be doing piercing firewalls with, whatever we do. Multi-machine config with WebDirect and multiple machine configuration with firewalls, and it's kind of an interesting situation. So Jacob will walk us through all that. That'll be good. And once again, if you have thoughts or ideas about what Christian Schmidt should be doing, right, in terms of other things you would like to see, let us know, because he's done great work here, really. I mean that in every possible way. That's why we have him on, because he's educated. I learn something every time he's here. All right. And then as a reminder, the MonkeyBread plugin, if they want to check out the MonkeyBread plugin, You would do MonkeyBread plugin. I guess you could do a search for
Basically,
Google.
you can just Google for any topic and put in FileMaker and MBS in your search string, and
there you go. And then if you want to buy it, you say buy right now, and it's actually pretty inexpensive, right? Pretty inexpensive. So I want to buy a copy. I want one license, so it's $149, right? So there you go. All right, cool. All right, and that's it for now. I appreciate it. Everyone have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!